It's some players on these 30 visits that I ain't expect. But I like it though. What's good, people? It's your boy, Mr. Rome, Cowboys fan talk, right back, like I never left. What's up with y'all, man? Happy Friday. Good Friday. You know what I'm saying? Whether you celebrate or not, man, happy holiday weekend. Hopefully, most of y'all got Friday off. You can enjoy your weekend, relax with your family, friends, etc. I appreciate y'all, man. Close, very, very close to that 18K, man. Very, very close. Um, Tried to hit 18K before I turned 40, April 20th. And y'all got me there. I'm close. I think I'm under 300. So appreciate all the likes, subscribes. I really, really do. I know it's early Friday. I usually drop later in the day, but I wanted to talk to y'all about the 30 visits. Shout out to my guy KD Drummond. He put a little article out on Twitter talking about 29 of 30 Cowboy 30 visits are known. There's one more player left. We'll see who that is soon. But just judging by the list that's out now, the players that are brought in, it's a couple things that stand out to me. Like, first and foremost, the Cowboys are 100% going to get a receiver. Now, size, attributes, who it's going to be, I don't know. But they've brought in people like Zay Flowers, Josh Downs, Quinn Johnston. Like, they're going to get a receiver, period. And that's across the spectrum. You know, Zay Flowers is a certain type of route running type receiver. Josh Downs is more explosive, short, quick, precise in his route running too. You got Quentin Johnston, who might not be the route specialist, but it's just an athletic freak, even though people try to say something about his motor and stuff like that. But I'm more concerned right now with the overarching cultural shift in types of players we're bringing in, who we're bringing in, like the influence from Dan Quinn, Mike McCarthy. Like, I'm really enjoying analyzing who they brought in and what they're going to do. Like, they keep pegging us to take tight end, but either there's a smokescreen or I don't see a lot of tight ends on that list. It's a couple. The one that stands out to me, though, is Darnell Washington. You know that Darnell Washington. I think he's like 6'7", 6'8", physical freak. Now, not super fast, but just a tank. Like, literally. Bulldozer. What do you want to call him? Like, just he's an anomaly. You don't see people that playing tight end like that. He's like 260 or 70. Like, seriously, like a tackle, but playing tight end. Like, Washington is somebody you add to your team, and it's just like he's a mismatch. Who's guard now? It's not short tight ends or linebackers. Like, you'd have to put a DN on him just lengthwise, but then they're not athletic enough to keep up with. Like, Washington would be a mismatch nightmare, especially in the red zone. But I think all over the field. I like they brought him in. Drew Sanders. I talked about him last night on my video. When I was talking about the top linebackers the Cowboys might be considering. Although I know I missed some like Overshown, etc. And y'all go watch my boy Boss Cowboy, J Tuck, Law Nation, DMV. They did a final word yesterday as well. And they went way more in depth on the linebackers. I watched that video. I was in the comments. It's ironic that we was thinking the same thing, but I just wanted to put something out of top linebackers. So I feel like that's a position we might highlight. And then they went in there and started to like break down some linebackers that I ain't even know to consider, but I will go check out now. So you want the more in-depth breakdown, definitely check out Boss. But if you want my quick thoughts on linebackers and stuff like that, check my video out. Drew Sanders is like a mismatch piece, similar to what Micah Parsons is. Like my boy Jay Tucker said, he's the white Micah. And I hate to make things racial. It ain't that deep. Is he another player that's talented enough to be considered to play like Micah? Yes, maybe not top end speed and complete athleticism, but his versatility, his height, what he can do, especially with the fact that you got to pay attention to Micah Parsons on our team, that would free Drew Sanders up to do a lot of crazy things. Dan Quinn would enjoy having Drew Sanders on his team. It would be crazy. So I'm glad they brought him in. I'm glad they're considering him. Then you got the running backs. You know what I'm saying? I talked about Bigsby the other day. And just saying that, could he be Zeke like because of his physicality, the way he finishes runs, the way his forward lean and things like that. Then you got Zach Evans for running back. You got Keandre Miller. Let me know that they are considering, like, of course they're considering Jahmyr Gibbs, and they're considering Bijan Robinson. Of course. Like, who's not? They're on everyone's boards. And if they're there, depending on where they are, you'll take one of them. Like, let's not trip. But, there's other running backs, like the Charbonnets, and like I said, like the Zach Evans, who we brought in, Keandre Miller, like, where we're like, okay, if it's a back there later, we'll take them. And I like that. Basically, we're going to this draft. When I was saying, like, the overview of what we're going to do, we're coming out of this draft with a receiver. Whether it's early or late, we're coming out of this draft with a receiver. I can tell by the way that it just depends on how the board falls. We're coming out of this draft with a running back. Whether it's early or late, depending on how the board falls. Then you got other freaks like Will McDonald, who can play multi-position flex. He plays some inside, played a little bit of outside. Dan Quinn would love. That's this year's Sam Williams. Will McDonald his wingspan is crazy. He's another physical anomaly. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't get the pub because of the school he went to, but Will McDonald will be great on this team. I want to do a solo video on him as well. But I like that, edge is being considered. It's one of those things where it might seem like I'm naming every position, but they are highlighting certain stuff. Like, they're keeping it in their mind. They want to add another young edge at their draft. They do. And if it falls to us right, cool. If not, we got deep. We got Armstrong, and we got Micah and D. Law and Fowler. And, like, we're insulated. But if there's a young edge there that's great, we're going to take them. Like Drew Sanders does both. So now you got two people with position flex. Linebacker and DN. Like, it would be crazy. Who else on this list? We brought Trenton Simpson in. I mentioned him last night just because of his twitchiness and his speed at linebacker. Then you get to offensive line because that's a big touching point. Now, I didn't see as many tackles on there, and that doesn't mean we won't take one. But I do see guards, and that's like telegraph. People saying we're gonna get Steve Avila, but then shout out to my boy Vach Lombardi, Skywalker Steel. They're the ones that turned me on to Antonio Mafi. And he is a physical. He throwing people around like children. Like, he different. And I started to consider, like, well, maybe we can get guard later. It's just how high you want to go. Because do you want to go for him in the second round? Vach says you can do that. But then, Sky's like, you probably can get him third or fourth. But you would be playing a game like, I want this player, and I'm running the risk of him not being there in the third. I need to go get him. So would you take him in the second? Our second round picks have been not the best lately. Sam Williams was good. But before that, it was a lot of misses. We take a Mafi, I feel like that's a definitive. They did a mock draft the other day. Say we get Quentin Johnston in the first round. Receiver out the way. Mafi second round. Lineman out the way. Guard out the way, right? Then in the third round, we go get Tank Bigsby. Running back out the way. And then after that, it kind of falls how you want to. You just see who's available. And if you don't take Tank, maybe you go like with Miller or somebody in the fourth round. And you take McDonald in the third. It just can go either way. That's why these 30 visits are interesting. It doesn't mean that we're going to take these players definitely. It just means that these are the players that we have in mind. These are the positions that we kind of are eyeing. And then you got to pay attention that there could be smoke screens. There's always smoke screens. There's always, like, I don't think we met with Micah before the draft. You feel me? Like, some players you don't even meet with. You meet with somebody close to them. You ask questions about that. You find your information other ways. So there are other sleeper players that we might be eyeing that we might not take. Like shout out my boy Boss Cowboy. He had me thinking, hey man, the Cowboys might be looking at DeJuan Jones. Don't sleep on him. They probably might don't want to tip their hand. They want to make everybody think we're going guard. Then we take Jones and put Jones on his left side with Tyler Smith, and that's a whole video in itself. Because that's just too much power. But you never know. The Cowboys took Tyler Smith last year, and I ain't see it coming. So I'm telling y'all right now, keep your eyes open. The 30 visits are important. Pay attention to them. But it don't mean that we definitely taking somebody off these 30 visits. It just means that they are high on our board. We ain't bringing them in for fun. Maybe a couple, but not all of them. I'm curious to see what that last player is. Anyway, it's your boy, Mr. Ron, man. Let me know in the comments who you like out of the 30 visits. Any surprises? Are you excited about who they brought in? Like the size of the receiver and stuff like that. I'm going to get up out of here. Any news break, I'll be back. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all enjoy your holiday weekend. I holla.